What is it about Max to where he can take around a track that, again, it's the temple of speed, so it's quick and you need a slippery car. But like you said, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2, Ascari as well, you've got to have downforce. It's a Jekyll and Hyde track as far as Monza and its aspect. So what is it about Max's driving style that enables him to take so much downforce out the car and have a car that's super slippery in a straight line, but then nail Lesmo 1 and 2 in a way that Lando Norris, as near as makes no difference, for 53 laps can't cope with zero mistakes, as near as makes no difference? What is it about Max?
Well, bear in mind, Lando on average was 3 to 4 kilometers an hour quicker through both Lesmos than Max throughout the race. So it wasn't that Max was as quick as a McLaren or Lando or Oscar through there. He wasn't. The point is that Max wasn't fazed by that and didn't let that faze him. And he just focused on what he knew he could get out of the car. And I've got to put my hand up and say, I didn't think Red Bull would be that good at Monza either. And I thought they would be around Ferrari sort of area. But I had also, in my defense, several times this year, I've used as an example of Red Bull at Monza, how well they used to do at Monza, even when they weren't quickest in a straight line in the Sebastian Vettel days. And that was because with Adrian there, they focused so much on the exit of Parabolica and the exit of Ascari. And if you get those two bits right, you are up and running, no doubt about it. And what we saw yesterday was a lot of that lineage going all the way back, I think, to the way Red Bull always have a good setup at Monza, regardless of how much power or how quick they are through the air. And we saw that. And Max obviously is a part of that. I mean, he knows how to drive a car quickly in and out of the Parabolica. And you could see, we're only talking half a meter or so, but he was definitely turning in a little bit earlier than Lando and Oscar. Oscar later than Lando into the Parabolica. And Max just getting a lovely steering rotation just before he started to load up the car with power. And just every lap, exactly the same centimeter of road. That was what I thought was just a joy to watch, how repetitive he was. And there were no Lando flares of stones coming out of the first Lesmo. There were no sort of Oscar sort of not glitches, but sort of sideway squirts when he was getting the power on a bit too suddenly. None of that. And as a result, McLaren's tires actually went off sooner than Red Bull's.
Insane.
Now, it all came back in terms of balance on the mediums. There's a good tire, the medium. But in terms of overall grip level, McLaren lost more than Red Bull over the first 15 laps of the race. And that's purely because of the way Max was driving the car. Nothing to do with the performance difference between the cars.
It's insane, Mr. Windsor. He's a terminator of an F1 peddler in that he just doesn't make... He seems to not make any mistakes, or at least not at the same rate that the others do. He just... I can't explain it, Peter.
And I think Monza's a great circuit because it shows up those tiny faults. There's a lot of quick corners there, medium speed corners. You can get away with it, with all the Mickey Mouse stuff you see at most circuits. But when it's the first Lesmo and you run, a little bit wide, you pay the penalty over the lap. There's no doubt about that. And actually for the guys behind you as well, with all the stuff you're spraying over the track. And Monza's a great circuit like that. It's a very discriminatory circuit in terms of how you load up the car going in and out of a corner. And the other point about Max is that he keeps the car very light anyway. He's always got the car square and light, and when he's putting the power on, you can just feel that the car, or look at it anyway, the body language of the car is such that he's just got all the energy going in the right direction. There's never really a conflict between lateral load and longitudinal load with Max. Everything is nicely organized on the car. And when you take the downforce out of the car, that just enhances Max's talent for doing that. And everybody else who's used to having maybe a little bit more downforce than they need to, when they have a bit of understeer, they crank on front flap, or a bit of oversteer, in practice, they put on Mori wing, whatever it is. Max doesn't tend to do that. He tends to drive around whatever issues he's got. And so when he gets to a circuit like Monza, where the cars are light, he's in his nirvana. That is what Max does. He drives very light cars and he keeps them beautifully he keeps the equilibrium perfect. all four wheels flat on the ground. And that's what makes it look so easy, I think, for people on the outside. You quoted some stuff earlier on, people saying, oh, he had a great car, quick car, just a faster car, drove away. Well, that's maybe how it looked. Believe me, it wasn't easy.
No.
And all I can say is if you put Max in a McLaren, I think he would have been even quicker.
Oof.
And if you put Oscar in a Red Bull or Lando in a Red Bull, I think they would have been about where Charles Leclerc was.
Oof. Oof. Touche. Touche, Mr. Windsor. And Matt Bishop, friend of the channel, always says that you don't judge how car quick is by its number one driver. You judge it by where the second driver is. And Sonoda-san again was...
Well, he was about to be lapped, wasn't he, when the checkered flag? Max was about to lap his teammate, a full lap of Monza.
Insane.
You know, that's Jim Clark stuff when he undid it, a lap deficit that he had in 67. But for Max to be a lap ahead of his teammate, the guy in the same car, he's not that slow. I saw Sonoda win a Formula 3 race once, I think, at Monza. You know, he's all right. He's average, you know, he's sort of Richie Ginther.
He's handy.
Yeah, he's all right. You know, but a lap behind. And it was a pretty short race too.
Yeah,
it's a quick race, fast race,
fastest race ever, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of meaningless given the way we control and change the regulations of the cars and the circuits almost by the year. But what I'm saying is there wasn't a lot of time for Max to go out and pull out a lap on his teammate, and yet he did. Unbelievable.